This pitch is presented to you by Breams PR.
Good afternoon, Koala Bay board members. We are the team behind Breams PR, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you again for enlisting us. I am Michaela, and my team includes Sanya, Kate, Brooke, Rebecca, Ella, and my colleague here, Jordan. So jumping straight into it, after pulling together all the information in the client brief, along with some secondary research that we collated into the PR problem you are facing, we have systematically investigated a number of solutions. After evaluation, it was determined that a social media campaign was the most feasible for you to implement. Due to budget constraints, this type of campaign would be the most successful in raising awareness across a large audience in the Redlands Bay area and incorporating the wider Southeast Queensland community, which were identified as the target regions for this campaign. However, before we delve any deeper into the solution, I will pass the floor to Jordan, who will share some key insights we've collated in relation to your organisation, Koala Bay. Thank you.
So you guys started your brief with an introduction to the current situations koalas face in the Redland Bay area and explained why a rehabilitation centre for koalas is detrimental. The client brief included the urgency, size and how this Australia-wide koala crisis developed over time. The harvesting of koalas began in the 1800s and was not banned in Queensland till the 1930s and has contributed greatly to the loss of 80% of the koala population in Australia, along with issues such as land clearing of their natural habitat and a large quantity are affected by chlamydia. Koala Bay's overall goal is to build a koala rehabilitation centre in the Redland Bay community. However, Koala Bay have limited funds, sponsors and no community support to do so. The koala enclosures in themselves are simple yet do require a significant amount of upkeep in terms of cleaning and maintenance to ensure that they are kept germ-free, which needs to be done by trained workers. You've highlighted that you will roughly need $800,000 to set up the centre and then around $300,000 a year to run the centre from there on. At this present time, reaching these numbers is impossible due to lack of awareness of Koala Bay as an organisation with an added lack of funding. As it stands, you have a website and an online shop which gets little to no visits and makes minimal sales. You would like awareness to be raised first among the Redland Bay community and then the wider Brisbane region. You've asked Breams PR and consultancies help in order to achieve this, urging us to seek alliances with other koala-orientated groups and to seek funding through corporate sponsorship. I'll now hand off to Brooke and Ella, who will be presenting our problem statement and the PR opportunity.
Thanks, Jordan. The public relations problem identified is the lack of awareness among Australians. The Australian community are not aware that their native animal, the koala, are a species that are dying off at a rapid rate. Research proves that there are many organisational groups working towards saving the koalas. However, the lack of awareness is still at a high. Your organisation has little to no awareness of your efforts and plans to save the species. We at Breams PR have taken this as an opportunity to create a campaign which will raise awareness immensely amongst the Australian community in a bid to increase donations to assist in funding the Koala Rehabilitation Centre. From our team's research into your social media, we've concluded that the Koala Bay Facebook page posts are nearly all negative. Rather than educating their publics on the importance of Australia's native animal, the social media platform produces constant negative posts in an attempt to guilt-trip their audience. As you can see on the slide, here is an example of one of the Facebook posts. In addition to this, your Instagram links directly to Adelia's personal Instagram, which has zero content. This has given us the opportunity to put a more positive message on the issue, which focuses on koalas being Australia's national animal, rather than trying to make the audience feel guilty. The client brief highlighted the need for donations were dire to achieve the organisation's goal. From this, Breams PR has come up with the following campaign goal. Our goal is to increase awareness of Koala Bay among residents of Southeast Brisbane. I will now introduce Ella, who will be discussing the PR opportunity.
Thank you, Brooke. A social media campaign that is endorsed and promoted through micro-influencers in the Redlands Bay, Brisbane and Southeast Queensland regions is the greatest opportunity to achieve the goal to increase awareness on both the issue and the brand. Australian micro-influencers with a minimum following of 5,000 and a maximum following of 100,000 will be approached to participate in the campaign. The reason Breams PR identifies the greatest opportunity in the use of micro-influencers online are due to 4 key factors. Firstly, micro-influencers are cost-effective. Their rates are much lower due to a smaller following, and often influencers are willing to work for free in order to build a good reputation. Secondly, they are great for a groundswell approach, as they create brand awareness and exposure through a large group of people in a smaller area. Thirdly, they are highly engaged with their followers. This is ideal for Koala Bay as they are more likely to create a conversation around the issue. And finally, micro-influencers are often more authentic and personable compared to macro-influencers with millions of followers. To build their influence, micro-influencers try to align themselves with brands they believe in and who their followers believe in to portray themselves as passionate, relatable people. Within Australia, aligning themselves with an organisation like Koala Bay to promote the need to save an Australian icon would likely be a very attractive opportunity to an aspiring macro-influencer. Australians are an extremely proud nation that takes great pride in the things that make Australia, Australia. The koala is recognised around the world as an icon of this country. Therefore, in order to achieve the goal and create awareness needed to enlighten the public of the devastating decline in koala numbers in the wild, social media allows you the forum it needs to start the discussion on how to make a change. Influencers could use hashtags such as Save the Koalas and Koala Bay to increase engagement. A Snapchat filter could also be considered for key tactics as a means of engagement and interaction online. At Breams PR, we believe in order to achieve the campaign goal, the greatest opportunity lies in drawing upon Australians' patriotism through micro-influencers driving a social media campaign appealing to their national pride. I will now pass on to Rebecca, who will be outlining our strategy.
Thank you, Ella. To achieve the main goal of increasing awareness among the residents of South East Queensland, the strategic approach of our campaign will be to draw on the patriotism of the koala in Australia as a national icon in order to appeal to the target publics. Our publics being South East Queensland and more predominantly the Redland Bay community are more likely to respond better to this approach than the more commonly used guilt trip approach regarding koala endangerment. The use of patriotism throughout the campaign will gain the public's interest towards the issue of koala endangerment and bring awareness to Koala Bay as there is a sense of community by coming together and saving one of Australia's national animals. This approach is proven to be effective in targeting and gaining public awareness on issues, which is seen throughout the 100% New Zealand A Welcoming Journey campaign that represents New Zealand as a patriotic and welcoming community. A campaign that greatly appeals to the interests of tourists. Our similar take on this approach will in turn achieve the same reach and appeal greatly to our target publics. This strategy will incorporate the use of Wild Koala Day as a platform to build our campaign around. Promoting Wild Koala Day will bring awareness to the issue of koala endangerment, as well as bringing further awareness to what your organisation is doing to rectify the issue. Now I'll pass on to Sanya to talk about publics.
The target audience of the campaign will be largely community-based. Instead of zoning in on one specific target audience, a variety have been chosen to achieve optimum reach and awareness. The first main audience is the Redland community as a whole. As you're based in Redland Bay, this small community will be where most of the activity created will be based around. Although the campaign will be a South East Queensland-based target, the Redland Bay community will receive the most amount of focus. As one of the tactics is to implement a free dress day at schools across the Redland community, the next important target audience are the teaching staff and PNC members of the schools. Most of the adults will be aged between 30 and 55. In order for Mufti Day to proceed, the teachers and PNC members will have to be won over by the idea first. There is a strong chance of this idea being accepted by them, for in exchange, this event will increase awareness in regards to wildlife for the children and further the education about animal welfare at no cost from either parties. Under these two main target audience branches, primary school students and university students are secondary target audiences. University students between the ages of 19 to 25 are known to be strong advocates for both environmental and animal welfare.
Due to Koala Bay's lack of funding, it is important that we emphasise that our chosen budget of $15,000 will not need to be touched until the end of the campaign objectives have been successfully evaluated. This is likely to be at the 6-month mark following the campaign. This gives Breams PR the opportunity to ensure that we reach all of our objectives and have demonstrated that our tactics are successful. The free dress days at local schools will also raise money through donations, which will be used to offset some of the budget used later on in the campaign. Ideally, there will also be a large spike in donations as a result of the social media campaign, and this will again offset some of the budget. Here is an outlay of the proposed timeline. The campaign will roll out over a 3-month period beginning in April of 2019. The first 2 weeks will consist of the Breams team updating all the current Koala Bay social media. This means we will remove Adelia's personal accounts from the website and link a Koala Bay specific account. We will also create a content calendar for the following 3 months with vivid images and interesting and insightful posts. This first 2 weeks will also consist of our team reaching out to micro-influencers as well as local Redland Bay schools. The second 2 weeks will consist of confirming the list of influencers who will participate as well as the schools. We will also confirm the content calendar by the end of April. May will start with a bang with National Koala Day. All participating schools will have free dress day and bring in a gold coin donation. Influencers will roll out the social media campaign and promote National Koala Day. Throughout May, influencers will educate their followers on the dying rates of koalas, as well as informing them of Koala Bay. This will achieve the objective of raising awareness on both the issue and Koala Bay. Throughout June, the social media campaign will continue to roll out the influencers posting at least once a week on their feeds or stories about Koala Bay and the difference they are making to saving Australia's national icon, the koala. I will now introduce Kate to wrap up.
To give you a better understanding of what our campaign will consist of, this strategy map will give you a brief idea of the tactics we plan to implement in order to achieve our overall goal of raising awareness throughout the Redlands community and southeast Brisbane area. With an approximate budget of $15,000, we plan to run this campaign over a timeline of 3 months, rolling out specific tactics on specific dates. As mentioned previously, the main idea of our campaign is to flip the current guilt trip strategy most koala preservation groups use and instead focus on the importance of saving koalas, as they are Australia's iconic homeland animal and representative of our nature and land, which will pull on the patriotic heartstrings of our community. This idea will be immersed in all of our tactics, for example, one being a free dress day throughout cooperating primary schools in the Redlands area. This will fall on the 3rd of May, Wild Koala Day, where kids will be encouraged to come to school in free dress for a gold coin donation, which will help raise both money and awareness of Koala Bay amongst the community. Our research has told us that koalas are popular among all age groups, but most popular among children and kids. This is why we believe working with primary schools in the community will be beneficial to start a network and begin conversation about Koala Bay, which will hopefully lead to a corporate sponsor or funding. Other campaign tactics, such as stores set up in Brisbane universities, social media influencers who will promote Koala Bay and their clothing products, and introducing a Snapchat filter will be explored in more detail in the report that we'll have ready for you. To conclude and refresh your memory of what you've just heard, my team highlighted the key insights from the client brief that you gave us and in turn identified Koala Bay's main problem as a lack of awareness regarding the company itself and the issue of the rapid endangerment of koalas in southeast Brisbane. From this, our campaign goal became simple: increase awareness. And in order to increase awareness, Breams PR believe it is critical we position koalas as Australia's iconic national animal and emphasise the importance of saving our homeland's representative species. My colleague Ella expressed the current opportunity Koala Bay has to use a social media-based campaign in order to achieve this goal, which included the use of social media influencers to build a greater following of the issue and the company. Sonia established who our publics are that we will have to target in order for the campaign to run smoothly and achieve the greatest results. And lastly, I gave a brief introduction into the tactics we will implement over the duration of the campaign. We hope this pitch has been informative and expresses how passionately we wish to help both your company and the issue regarding koalas in our area. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope that you choose Bream to achieve your dream.